Hi everybody, Gary Krebs here again, and got my friend John Clanton behind the camera again, and he's waving hi to you. Well, in this video, we're going to talk about weed guards, and this particular type of weed guard that I really believe in is a dual leg weed guard, and I want to show you how to install this thing and encourage you to use it. And one of the things that I've found, I always considered weed guards fish guards until I fished with a buddy down in the Everglades. And one thing I noticed was that once I made a few bad casts into the mangroves and was able to retrieve my fly, the faith that I had in the weed guard seemed to grow. And then I noticed that my accuracy was going up and up and up. And the more that I threw it into the mangroves, the more I could see that this weed guard was an effective weed guard, and we weren't missing any fish. So this is probably one of the easiest things to do, but probably one of the hardest things to explain. So we've got some tools here. We're going to show you how, or hopefully show you how this all goes together. Now, one of the first things you're going to need to know is on my 7/16 fly, the 20-pound Mason hard mono is what you want. Don't use regular monofilament. It's too limp. It won't hold its shape. But this Mason's hard mono is just wonderful doing that. Now, if you downsize the fly, if you go down to the 3/8, you need to downsize the monofilament. So I use 16-pound test on the 3/8. If you go into the custom flies and you start making some great big stuff, you might want to think about going up to maybe 25-pound, but you can play with that. Now, when you take the line off your spool, you notice it has a memory to it and it stays kinked. So your wives are not going to like you here, but the way we overcome that is a piece of copper tubing. Cut it to fit the top shelf of your dishwasher. and what I do is I take 6 or 7 strands of this and cut the strands the length of the pipe, and then I just use my tying thread and I tie all the ends together, pull out a long length, drop that thread through the pipe, and then you can pull these with all that kink in there. You can pull those right through the pipe. Once you get those loaded into your pipe, put it in the dishwasher, top shelf, run it through a full cycle. When they come out, you can pull them out the end and they're perfectly straight. Okay? Now, I've got these little bottles that my wife gets, and they're just the perfect length, but they're about right at 3.5 inches long, which is right about the right length. So what I'll do is I'll take all those strands that are straight and then I'll cut them and put them in these little bottles. And then they're right there for me when I'm ready to use them. We'll go ahead and start my thread. We're not going to actually tie the fly. I'm going to demonstrate this with the actual legs first. It's really hard to see, but then I have another little piece here. We're going to back up and we're going to get some real close shots at exactly what I'm doing, so that'll help you better understand how this is working. Okay, now what I've got is I've got about a 3.5 inch length of 20-pound Mason's hard mono, and it's been straightened. I'm going to take this, I'm going to fold this in half, and I'm going to crease this. Now this stuff has like a grain to it, and it's going to want to jump around in your fingers as you squeeze it here, but just keep squeezing. You know, I am bigger, I will win. That's what I always told my kids. You've got to do the same thing with this stuff, but just keep squeezing until you got it nice and creased like that. Okay. Now, here's a little tool I've come up with to help you understand it. This is just a ring, and my fingers are going to represent the weed guard. The ring is going to be the path of the tip of my bobbin. Okay? So, to help you understand, as my bobbin comes around in a circle here, if I tip the path of my bobbin this way, look what happens to my weed guards. They go that way. If I tip the path this way, they come towards me. If I'm too flat, they hang straight down. If I go too far this way, they go back that way. Alright? Now keep that in mind. Now the first step in installing this is hold the two bottom ends so you get the loop at the top. Bring your thread, and come right back up to the eye. Leave a little space right behind the eye. Bring your thread up. Okay, say that again. Bring your thread up. Loop the line right over the eye and use the thread to pull that towards the eye. Now what I'm doing is I'm just going to tie a figure 8, but I'm going to tie it my side around the hook and your side around the hook, and that completes the figure 8. So we'll just do it here. Around my side of the leg, across the top of the eye, and up. We'll let go of the leg, grab the leg closest to me, come back to the eye. Now this you have to let up the pressure a little bit. Come around the leg, in between the legs, and up. Now we've captured that, and that figure 8 is going to hold that piece in place till we finish it. Okay. Now grab both legs, pull them together, and pull them back at a slight angle. Okay. Now here's where that ring comes in. Watch the path of my bobbin. If I keep it exactly the same each time, I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4, let go. You've just made the perfect weed guard. It's that easy. Okay. Now back up a little bit. If I change the angle of that wind, remember this ring here, if I tip that ring this way, I'm gonna intentionally do that. I'm going to go low on my side and high on your side. So I'm going this way. It's going to kick that weed guard way towards you. Now I'm going to turn that so you can see it. See how that's all bent out of shape right there? That's because the path of my bobbin was cocked a little bit. Okay? So that's the secret of tying this thing on. Once you've got the figure 8 on there, pull that down and back, set your bobbin, set your plane, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're done. Just like that. And I'll turn this so you can see it from that angle. Okay, see how it splits the point of the hook? Here again, we're going to take our thread, we're going to take it up. We're going to take the loop over the eye. Now drop your thread down to horizontal and it'll come right across the top of the eye. Now that catches my leg around the hook. Let go of the weed guard and grab the leg closest to you. Drop the thread right down across the top of the hook. Go around the far side. Up in between the legs and up. You can grab the other side, pull it down, and go around the hook again to lock that down. Okay, that completes the figure 8 right there. Okay, now grab both legs, pull them back a little bit, set the plane of your bobbin, and go around 1, 2, 3, 4. Let go. To lock it in, go around your hook, and then knot it off. Thread up, your weed guard over the eye, drop the thread down, come across the eye, and around the hook. Let go of the weed guards and hold the leg closest to you. Drop the thread down to the eye and around the far side leg and up in between the two legs and around the hook. Okay? Now that completes the figure 8. Pull the legs back to the angle you like. Set the plane of your bobbin and 1, 2, 3, 4 and around the hook. And once you've got the angle right where you want it, which that's just about right, do 3 or 4 wraps around there and tie it off. And whip finish that. Cut your thread off. And turn your vise upside down. And what I typically do is I'll take whatever hook I'm tying on, and I'll take this hook gap and go about half again as much, pull the legs together and cut both legs at the same time. Now if if you get that too long, it makes the legs more flexible. So if you're going to err on the short side. Okay, now I've got my weed guards tied on. I've got them cut to length. I'm going to take the fly. We're just going to pretend this is a finished fly. I'm going to take it out of the vise, and then what I want you to do is we're going to take the point of this one and we're going to bend it right down this plane, right down to this bottom right here where it meets the hook. Okay, so the way I do that, just take your finger, put your finger on top of it and push. Now make it follow that direction right there. It's going to want to jump out like this. Don't let it do that. If you let it do that and you make the crease, the leg's going to stick that way. So make it follow the path you want it to follow by just putting your finger on it, bend it right down to that area right there, and squeeze. Okay, see how that crimped it nice and clean? Now switch hands, and just like anything else, you're not going to do this perfect the first time. It takes a lot of practice, so just practice it. But switch to the left side, take your fingertip, put it right on the tip, make that thing follow the plane you want it to follow, right down to the same spot, and crease it. Now sometimes you don't crease it enough. It's okay, just bend it right back down, give it a little more squeeze, and there you go. Now you can bend those up just a little bit, and that's how easy it is to make a weed guard out of Mason's hard mono. Okay, that's our demonstration on how to install the weed guards. This is what they should look like when they're finished. You know, nice little bend here. When a fish bites, they collapse and they get hooked. They're stiff enough, you know, if you throw, that's one thing I wanted to mention. I've actually thrown these in the top of a mangrove bush, worked this all the way down through the bush, hit the water and fish it back. And I'd like to encourage you to tie one of these on and go out and do that yourself, so that you can start to increase your faith in what they do. I promise you, your accuracy is going to go way up once you start putting these on your flies. One other thing I wanted to cover, this is a 4X long hook. You'll notice on this one, that's a standard length hook. This is tied right at the eye. You know, this is a 4X long hook. If I tied this weed guard clear up here to the eye, that weed guard would be that long and it'd be real flimsy. So one neat thing you can do is you can tie that clear back here to the back where the normal eye would be, and you can just set the foam over the top of it. So you know, hopefully we've given you enough information. We've shown you several different angles on how to do this, and hope you can practice it and accomplish it, and it increases the amount of fish that you catch. So thank you for watching again, and we'll see you on the next one.